A second chance for you, even if chemo, radiation, or surgery didn't work or isn't tolerated. Our goals are best results and quality of life. Meet Dr. Lederman to hit the cancer. For a free booklet DVD, call 212 Choices, 212 Choices for a fresh second opinion. Most insurances, Medicare, Medicaid, accepted. Not only super convenient, super. Broadway and 38th in Manhattan. To hit your cancer, see Dr. Lederman, 212 Choices.
With Dr. Lederman, the best prostate cancer treatment is custom tailored for you. Each man with prostate cancer is unique and seeks the best results based upon PSA, Gleason score, and stage. That's why Dr. Lederman's custom tailored prostate cancer treatment is most logical. Not every man should get the same treatment. Dr. Lederman's custom prostate cancer treatment is all outpatient. Our goals are your best results, avoiding radical surgery, maintaining your sexual and urinary function, and your life. Most insurances, Medicare, Medicaid accepted. Call Dr. Lederman at 212 Choices, 212 Choices for a fresh second opinion and free booklet DVD. Not only super convenient, super in Manhattan, 38th and Broadway. To hit the cancer, call Dr. Lederman, 212 Choices. Cherish your life. Custom prostate cancer treatment with Dr. Lederman, 212 Choices.
Welcome back to the Radiosurgery Hour. This is Rob Redstone here with Dr. Gil Lederman at the WOR Studios in the heart of New York City. We're just a few steps from the Radiosurgery New York Cancer Treatment Center on Broadway and 38th Street. Dr. Lederman, the leading cancer expert, treats prostate cancer non-invasively. He was the first in New York with fractionated brain radiosurgery, and he's the first in America and in the Western Hemisphere with body radiosurgery. You can also call Dr. Lederman at 212 Choices for a free informative booklet and DVD. Hey, Dr. Lederman, we're back.
Hey, we're back. We're talking about cancer treatment, living better, living longer, better medical decisions. And it's interesting to learn how medicine is practiced in the Big Apple. Are we the best? Well, we'll see. You judge. You're the judge. Next patient is a 49-year-old black man, served America, was in the Marines. He's a bus driver for New York City MTA. Comes to us 49 years old with a PSA 5.76, Gleason 7. So Gleason 7, again, is a more aggressive cancer. Gleason tried to tell us how aggressive cancers would be. He made a scale of 2 to 10. 2 to 6 is low risker, and 7 to 10 is higher risk. He has 7. So he's in good shape, his sex life works, his urine life is under control. He's 215 pounds, 5'5", strong man. So he came to us. He went to another place who was willing to treat him for his cancer starting in a month or month and a half. He learned about our data for prostate cancer, and we like to talk about the data for each man and their risk, because he has Gleason 7, so if you talk about Gleason 6 to him, it's not really fair because it has nothing to do with Gleason 7. So if Gleason 7, and if you can open our book and look at the data, there's multiple graphs, and you can look at the comparison of us versus major cancer hospitals, big hospitals in Boston, Philadelphia, New York, Baltimore. You can see the comparison. Just for example, on page 11, figure 15, 2 big cancer treatment centers in Boston and Philadelphia, good centers. Their best results for Gleason 7, 60% cancer-free survival. Us, 90%. So if you can have a 50% better chance of being cancer-free, what would you do? I'd get the better results if it were me, but that's up to you. Everyone can choose themselves as long as you have the data, and that's why we give the data. I think we're the only place that gives men and women the data so you can make a decision. How can you make a decision without knowing the data? One patient came to us. He came to us and he went back to his doctor, and he said, "Doctor, over there at the other place, big hospital in New York, what's your data?" Dr. Lederman has shown me his data. What's your data? Now, this guy does thousands of prostate surgeries in his lifetime. and he has no data. And I know that he has no data. I've been looking for it because I want to put a graph in our book, This Guy Versus Us. So the patient said to him, "Doctor, what's your data?" And the doctor said, "My data is smoking." Well, smoking data, it may be smoking dope, but it's not smoking data. Data is numbers, and data is published results, and data is something that a person can hang their hat on and say, look, I've got a Gleason 7 cancer. What's the chance of cancer-free survival with you, doctor, versus Dr. Lederman? Dr. Lederman has Gleason 7, 90%. All these other guys are 60%, and that's big cancer hospital nearby and far, and in Texas and Baltimore and Philadelphia. Why? Well, why are you more aggressive? Well, we're more aggressive because, number one, we don't handle the prostate. We don't do radical surgery, which is handling the prostate, which is, by the way, cutting the nerves, which interferes with sexual and urinary function. No, our treatment, non-invasive radiosurgery frame, we aim and hit the cancer. We were the first in America to use the stereotactic frame, and we put in some seeds through the skin, brachytherapy, without opening up the skin, just a little needle poking in the seeds, which allow us to give higher doses of treatment to the cancer. And that's why our results are better. It's very simple. And even compared to other places that do brachytherapy, our results are better. There's another hospital in New York that does brachytherapy for the Gleason 7. Their results are 72%. Our results 92%, 28% better. So where you go makes a difference. What your treatment is makes a difference. This man just didn't want to wait, and then he found out there's such a huge difference in where you go. So with us, he already started. He came in, he saw the data, he knew what he wanted. He wanted better results. He wanted to keep his sex life, urinary life. He wanted to avoid radical surgery. He came in and started with us. He didn't have to wait a month. Waiting a month, he knows, lets the cancer grow. And we know in the black community, the mortality rate, the death rate from breast cancer and prostate cancer is double. It's 200% higher than in the white community. Why? Because of long delays. So it's a lesson to us all. The cancer's not different, but there's a delay. So don't delay. If you want to be seen, we have something called the Urgent Cancer Consultants, where we promise to see you within 1 business day. We would rather work harder than you sit home and suffer and let the cancer grow, grow, grow. And here's a man who came from Jordan. You know where Jordan is. Jordan's next to the Jordan River. It's in the Bible. Jordan is just east of Israel, and it's all the turmoil in Jordan and Syria. Well, Jordan's a pretty safe country right now and friend of America. Anyway, this is a man, 50-year-old real estate broker from Jordan. He lives in America and he lives in Jordan. So he was diagnosed in Jordan with nasopharynx cancer. What's the nasopharynx? The nasopharynx is not one of those sexy organs. The nasopharynx is a space behind the nose, above the mouth, below the brain, in front of the spinal cord. So it's kind of a hidden space, and he actually only found out about his nasopharynx cancer when the cancer spread to the lymph nodes in his neck. He had a biopsy in Jordan. He had what was said to be liver metastasis, so cancer traveled to the neck and the liver. He had 2 cycles of chemotherapy and a new scan, and at first the chemo seemed to work. Then he had another new scan after 4 cycles of chemo, which showed the chemo wasn't working as well. And then 2 more cycles of chemo and no response. So it seems like, and it's not unusual, that the chemo worked better at the beginning, and then the cancer grew resistant to the chemo. And now it doesn't seem like it's working at all. He came from Jordan for a consultation with us. I saw him, and he's in great shape. There's a scar on his neck. But what's strange about it is that nasopharynx is actually often a very curable cancer. And what's strange about him is that he has metastasis to the liver, supposedly, but nothing in the lung, nothing in the chest, no lymph nodes in the chest, no lung metastasis. And usually the spread is from the nasopharynx to the lymph nodes to the chest and then beyond. The question is what is in the liver actually nasopharynx cancer or not? Now, if he just had cancer in the nasopharynx and the neck, he'd have a great chance of being cured with our treatment, with focused beam radiation. And maybe he has something else in the liver. Now, he came to us because he wanted other options. And in Jordan, and actually in several hospitals in New York, they just wanted to give chemo. Well, chemo might be great for the chemo people, but the chance of cure is 0 for this disease. There's only basically one way of treating it successfully, and that's with radiation, and we use focused radiation to try to avoid harm to the healthy tissues. We propose doing a little needle biopsy, poking a little needle through the skin. We can numb up the skin, poke in a little needle, suck out some cells from the liver, and see what's in the liver. Maybe what's in the liver is not nasopharynx cancer, and therefore he'd have a chance of being cured with treatment for his nasopharynx cancer. So we met, we spent a lot of time with him. He didn't know there'd be options. Luckily he came, and we'll report back to you on what happens to him. But it's interesting that often when people think there's no choices, no options, when we sit down and we spend time together, options become clear. Now, here's a man who called us this week. He called, actually his son called. Now he's being told that he has a low-grade kidney cancer that's stage 4 with lung metastasis, and his doctors are talking about chemo. Well, number one, for kidney cancer, if it's stage 4, it's not really low grade. I mean, low grade implies it's a slow-growing cancer and it's not going to hurt you. Well, it's a little bit like getting hit by an atomic bomb. If it's dropped on your head from 50,000 feet or from 2 feet, it's probably going to hurt you. And a kidney cancer that's stage 4 with lung metastasis is probably going to hurt the patient. Now, chemo has no chance of curing it, and actually has very small chance of working. If you look at the data for systemic treatment for kidney cancer, the response rates are pretty low, and they're very short. Gil Lederman just published a paper from our data showing for kidney cancer spread to the lung, our ability to stop or shrink the cancer where we aim the beam is 97%, and that data is being presented at a national cancer meeting this fall, one of the biggest, I think the biggest radiology meeting in the world, RSNI in Chicago. So we have data that's excellent, 97% for kidney cancer, and we treat other cancers as well in the lung cancer, breast cancer, sarcoma, melanoma, renal cell, others. So you may, if you have lung metastasis, and if chemo's not working, or if you want other options, give us a call at 212-CHOICES, 212-CHOICES, which is 212-246-4237. This is Dr. Lederman. We're in WOR, by the way. We're live, and we want to thank Bob and Ed for running the program. They are fantastic, first-rate professionals who run this program. The whole station is on their shoulders, and they are fantastic. If you call 1-800-321-0710, 1-800-321-0710, they will answer and put your call through. So if you have questions or concerns or comments, 1-800-321-0710. Here's a word from our sponsor, and we'll be right back.
Here's Dr. Gil Lederman, New York's only Harvard-trained, triple-board certified radiation cancer doctor. If chemosurgery or radiation isn't working or isn't tolerated, when cancer and its pain and symptoms aren't getting better, seek a fresh second opinion at Radiosurgery New York's Urgent Cancer Consultants for innovative, custom-tailored cancer treatment. See our experts within one business day, because we know your time and your life are precious. Our goal is proper diagnosis and effective, non-invasive outpatient treatment. Decades of leadership, first in New York,